Would it not be great if while working you reach such a state of immersion that you lost all track of time and became oblivious to the clock and impervious to distractions? You may say, Swamiji, such a state is impossible because work is dreary and drab, and it oscillates between drudgery and demands, between stress, anxiety and tensions. But such a state of complete absorption can happen. It is called flow, and that is what we shall discuss today. The Czechoslovakian psychologist Mihai Csikszentmihalyi conducted experiments to determine people's happiness while working. He would give them beepers that would go off many times in a day, and their task was to determine how happy they were when the gadget beeped and note it from a scale of 1 to 10. The results were interesting. People were obviously happy when engaged in low-value fun activities in entertainment, like talking with friends, sitting at the canteen, chit-chatting, having a tasteful meal. But what was most astounding was the discovery that people were even more joyous and fulfilled when completely immersed in their work. And Csikszentmihalyi coined the phrase to be in the flow because they seemed to be doing things almost automatically. Consider the example of Ramakrishna Paramahans. He used to live in the suburb of Kolkata in a place called Dakshineshwar. He once went to visit the Rath Yatra, festival of chariots, happening in Kolkata. He reached late and asked a shopkeeper, "Sir, has the Rath of Lord Jagannath passed by?" The shopkeeper was an artist and was immersed in his work of creation. He said, "No, not at all." The neighboring shopkeeper scolded him. "Why are you telling lies to such a big Mahatma? 2 hours ago, hundreds of people went by. Did you not see?" The artist said, "I did not see them." He said, "All right, you were busy painting, but you must have heard them with your ears. They were playing the dhol, jhanj and manjira." The artist said, "I did not even hear them." Ramakrishna Paramahans was astonished. He sat down there in dhyan and came to know the shopkeeper was telling the truth. He came out of his meditation and fell at the shopkeeper's feet. He said, "People call me a Mahatma, but your immersion in work is beyond compare. Now look at that shopkeeper's state. He was so absorbed in his work of creating art that he possibly saw the chariot going by, and he definitely heard all the tumultuous sound, but it did not register on his head." So this kind of absorption happens when the conscious mind and the subconscious are in alignment. And in that zone, most of the work is getting done by the subconscious mind, while the conscious mind, free from distractions, is completely absorbed in looking out for threats and opportunities. Consider, for example, a maestro tennis player. When he strokes the ball, It comes back in less than a second, or possibly less than half or 1/4 of a second. There is no scope for distractions. Such master players become impervious to all the hooting and cheering of the audience as well, as they are completely absorbed. While working, you can get into this zone. To reach a state of flow requires certain prerequisites. The first is, you must feel deeply that the work you are doing is meaningful. The second, it must be challenging and require your complete attention. The third, there must be freedom from distractions, so that the conscious mind remains absorbed. And the fourth, there must be constant feedbacks. Like, for example, when a musician creates notes and the note falls in the perfect place, the feeling from within gives the feedback, aha, that was perfectly done. So these four conditions, they create a conducive environment for reaching a most pleasurable, blissful state of work. Let me read about it to you from The Art and Science of Happiness. In the flow experience, the subconscious and conscious mind are in harmony. The subconscious is doing most of the work, while the conscious mind is completely absorbed in looking out for problems and opportunities. Achieving flow can considerably improve the quality of our work. It leads to increased concentration, peak performance, and creativity. People who frequently experience this state do not get bored, nor do they have time for office politics or gossip. No wonder flow results in happiness at work. Great artists, painters, musicians often fall into this state of flow. There is a story about Leo Tolstoy. He was engrossed in the plot of his novel and walking up a stairway. Another person was descending the flight of stairs. Tolstoy thought there would not be enough space, so he stepped aside. It was a very narrow stairway and he fell off. The other gentleman asked, "Why did you step off?" He said there was not enough space. That man said, "Of course there was. It was 3.5 feet wide." And that was when Tolstoy realized that in his mind he had been imagining the heroine of his story to be walking alongside. That was the extent of his absorption in his work. If you wish to achieve that state of being in the zone while working, you need to grow your focus, develop the ability to become impervious to distractions, take up challenging works that engage your complete attention, and look for such activities that are aligned with your sense of purpose and highest values. Take inspiration from Vachaspati Mishra, one of the most prolific writers of sacred books in history. He was 75 years old and completely absorbed in writing a commentary on Shankaracharya's Bhashya of the Brahma Sutra, when suddenly the light under which he was working went off. He saw a woman came, put the light back on and started leaving. This distracted Vachaspati Mishra. He looked up to her and inquired, "Who are you?" The lady said, "Please continue with your work. Don't bother about me." He said, "But tell me who you are." The lady said, "I am telling you, do not get disturbed." Vachaspati Mishra closed his book and said, "I need to know who you are." The lady announced, "I am your wife." "My wife?" he asked. "But when did we get married?" 50 years ago, she said. He said, "Really? But how come I did not come to know?" She said, "How would you come to know? Your state now was your state at that time. When we took the 7 rounds around the fire, you had books in your left hand. When we were saying mantras, I don't know what you were thinking about. And after marriage, you continued your absorption." Vachaspati Mishra was astonished. He said, "Then what did you do after marriage?" She said, "I kept taking care of you. I would put the food on the table and you would eat it without realizing my presence. So how did we get money for subsistence?" She said, "I used to do odd jobs for the neighbors." "Really? But you didn't feel you were missing out in life?" She said, "I thought I was blessed to have the opportunity to serve such a holy personality, while other ladies were merely raising children like cats and dogs." Vachaspati Mishra was so impressed. He said, My, I have written this bhashya, but you have made it practical in your life." He named that bhashya as Bhamati Bhashya after his wife Bhamati. And today he is famous more by the Bhamati Bhashyakara name than his own name as Vachaspati Mishra. That is the state of flow. So let us seek to get into that state when we work, for therein lies the key to finding unbounded joy in our work.
Daily Sadhana is a unique coaching platform envisioned by Swami Mukundananda for people of all backgrounds to make systematic spiritual progress at your own pace and in the comfort of your own home. In Daily Sadhana, Swami Mukundananda will be your personal spiritual coach and will help you learn and practice spirituality every day in a structured and engaging manner.
If we could transform ourselves just 1% every day, after a few months, we would have changed ourselves 100%.
Daily Sadhana offers beautifully designed online courses where the timeless Vedic philosophy is systematically organized into daily lessons. Each daily lesson contains an exclusive video lecture, review slides to revise the key takeaways, special meditation sessions, and quizzes and exercises. Visit mydailysadhana.org to learn more and start your spiritual practice today.